Hi, my name is Taylor Stafford, and this is my digital narrative on my experiences and journey with literacy. During English 1, I have learnt a lot about myself. I have learnt that there are so many different ways to teach literacy. English 1 has changed my view on how teachers should teach students and how students should be talking more in the classroom. It has taught me a lot about caring for the students and catering to their needs. My experiences of literacy before doing English 1 is literacy is just written text, and that's the only form it comes in. Whilst doing English, I have come to believe that there are so many more forms of text and ways of teaching them than I realised. Some of them are oral text, visual text, and more. During practicums, I have noticed that most of the schools that I have been at fail to incorporate some of the things we are learning in class. Classrooms rarely have time where students just discuss and talk about books they are reading or educational videos they are watching. I have noticed that students are eager to talk, but we fail to give them educational things to talk about. I understand that teachers are doing the best they know how, but I feel that after completing English 1, I have the need to make the literacy space better in classrooms. In saying this, there were some great resources and useful tools I observed whilst on my practicum. I noticed in one lesson that the teacher was teaching the students different forms of text and how we can learn to make observations with our eyes. The teacher had the students watch a non-verbal short film, and throughout the film pause it in key areas, and had the students talk amongst each other and make predictions of what was to come next. After watching the video, the teacher explained to the students that there are more than just written text. There is oral and visual. My most empowering literacy experience on practicum was when one of the students began to get escalated and angry in the classroom, which freaked the rest of the students out. I noticed that the student was just venting and having a bad day. So I just took a piece of paper and pencil and sat with him outside and let him draw. The student drew a dog on the page. Whilst drawing, he began to get happier and talk more to me. Drawing a dog told me a lot about this student. This was my highlight of my practicum. There are aspects of all the teachers I have heard from and been on practicum with that I would take on board. Some of these are the different resources they use and the way they teach their students. I'm naturally a quiet and caring person, so I'm drawn to a teacher that has these qualities. Teachers that care for their students and take an interest in how they are doing. These are the qualities I like. I would love to implement literacy into art. I think art is a way you can express yourself in the way you feel. Art is also another form of visual text. These reflections connect with the social model of literacy by expressing your points of view in an individual way through the different KLA. Some sources that have helped me learn more about teaching literacy in the classroom are Literacy in Australia, Pedagogies of Engagement. This has been a great source to look at and reflect on different ways of teaching literacy in a student learning environment. Going on practicums and hearing from lecturers like Edie have helped me compile a great deal of knowledge about literacy and teaching in a 21st century classroom. Whilst completing English 1, I have found myself getting more and more excited about teaching it in my own classroom and setting my classroom up to look like a pop-up 21st century classroom.
Treasure waits within your sky. The gift of freedom, gold can't buy. I bought the world and it sold my heart. We traded heaven to have me again. My heart beating, my soul breathing. I found my life when I
This has been my digital narrative on reflections of literacy in the classroom. Thank you for listening.